So great, bro.
Welcome to Leap Sales with Ian Nethercott and Larry Feldman live.
How do you adventure? Is it fast? Is it free? Is it clear? Is it rugged? Is it remote? For your next adventure, trust MotoClose for buying, selling, trading, and protecting all of your motorized assets.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I just got back into Calgary, Alberta from Vancouver, British Columbia after a long 30-hour drive across one of the most interesting highways in the world. If you ever have the opportunity to drive from Edmonton to Vancouver across the Coquihalla Highway, it's goes from sea level to 15,000 feet elevation and back down, and it goes through the Rockies. It's a little dicey this time of year, by the way, because you can have inclement weather, but it's a stunning drive. Very spotty cell service, unfortunately, but a great drive. Anyway, Larry's here too. So, Larry, where are you?
Right here.
Yeah, I can see you, buddy. I hear you're on phone format, but that's cool. Go ahead.
Is there something wrong with your computer, Larry?
I believe there's something wrong with me. I won't blame the computer.
What's wrong, Larry?
I am back. I'll tell you, I was in West Virginia. I drove down Sunday night with Harry, drove back Tuesday night. Man, I'm like having a love fest with these people from West Virginia, the McClinton Auto Group. It's Chevy and Mitsubishi, just husband and wife owner, two of the nicest people you ever met. And really had a lot of fun. I was there 2 weeks ago and trained their salespeople, and they asked me to come back and work with the salespeople and work with the managers with my train the trainer. But really had a lot of fun. Really just a good time.
And I got a client for you, Larry. I was in the store visiting dealers, and when he said, "Do you do sales training?" I said, "No, but I know people who do."
Awesome. Yeah, that's hey, any referral, business that's out there. Listen, I'm not afraid to ask anybody on this show that refers me to somebody. I will let you buy me dinner. I'm sorry to do it that way, but Ron is encouraging me to tighten up the budget.
No worries.
There you go.
I visited about 100 dealers in 4 days.
Wow.
In 3 different cities.
Hey, we're not going to have a show next week with respect to everybody with Thanksgiving and the travel. But I will tell you unashamedly, besides all the great folks on the show, very thankful for Rhonda and Ian. They just do a lot of work behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. And man, I've never known either one of them to eye roll. Whatever they got to do, they do. Where most people spend their time complaining and worrying and bitching, all these two ever do is get it done. Because for anybody that doesn't know, besides all the effort he puts into this, I first met Ian because he hosts and continues to host. I'm a little bit involved as a junior partner on the Auto Hub show every Monday at 11 a.m. But man, the guy's everywhere and ties in with everything all the time. Not to mention Vid calls, which I'm working on some with Joel. I spoke to him today. And
Hey, Wendy and I will be happy to teach him eye rolling.
I don't know why he thinks we're not eye rolling off camera.
Discretion is the better part of valor. I learned to ignore anybody that in any way looks at me askew. You see that, Garrett? Askew, A-S-K-E-W. I'm starting to get into heavy duty words. Maybe I use ephemeral.
Oh, that's a big one. I might have to look that one up.
And how
about spell polysilazine?
That's an inside joke between me, Stillman, and Larkin. We had a guest on, and we had a good time discussing that.
Shots fired, shots fired.
I believe our topic this week is how to make AI more human. Is that correct?
That is 100%
Yes,
correct.
it is. But I want to first welcome back Alec, who's relatively new, and Christian Youngren, who's very, very new.
Christian, welcome. We will on this show, everybody gets a chance to talk, even though I do it incoherently, and we will find out a little bit about you. And we're super glad you joined us, Alec. You were a dynamite contributor, and we're super glad you're back.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so you were right, Larry. It's about we were assuming that most dealers have some kind of AI integrated into their dealership, and the question is, how do we get employees to embrace it, and how do we get it to be more friendly to employees?
So
I think it's pretty much the same for everybody and everything and every product and every project. We need communication. We need everyone to sense that they're a part of a team and that their input is welcome, not discouraged or disdained. The dealership that I was at, they've got an AI creature called Emma. And obviously the great thing about Emma is she'll work Sunday, she'll work 2:00 in the morning. But unfortunately, like all things, yeah, just like you. There we go with the eye rolling again. Christian's first show, you're already rolling your eyes. But she asked at a certain point, is Monday or Tuesday better? And the person said Monday. And she said, okay, is Monday or Tuesday better? And I thought, it's like everything else. If we don't keep an eye on it, if we don't integrate it, if we don't make it humans using this as a tool rather than humans using this as a crutch or, God forbid, a replacement, I think we're fine.
Well, but I do have a good use for AI, Larry. I was in the largest Jeep standalone dealership in Canada in Edmonton, Alberta. So they have 2 floors of Jeep product, including a collection of classic Jeeps, and they have a merch store like a Harley Davidson store. So I'm in the merch store and I'm going, hey, I want to buy some stuff. Do you have a parts person? Oh, no, we only have accounting up here. We have a parts counter, but the parts person's over on the Chrysler Dodge Chrysler Dodge Ram side. So what do? He goes, oh, well, you can take the stuff off the shelf and walk across and pay for it across the street. And I said, you're kidding me, right? And they're like, no. I'm like, so I must be in Canada because taking stuff out of a store and then hoping I'm going to pay for it across the street doesn't make a lot of sense.
And Ian, isn't there also an inherent danger in having a 2-floor Chrysler store? Because as you all know, one of my best friends is Ron Boss, who owns a Chrysler dealer. Yeah. And I think the danger of 2 floors is on a bad day, the owner is likely to jump off the 2nd floor into death with the Stellantis programs. Well, and if you think I'm kidding, check out some of the list prices of Jeeps.
Oh, yeah. Well, the other one that was interesting is Edmonton is home to the 2nd largest mall in North America. The same developer built the one in Minnesota, just so you know. And they have 2 auto dealers in the mall. So they have a full-scale Toyota dealer with service department in the mall. And they have a boutique Volkswagen store in the mall as well. They also have an ice skating rink and a tide pool and a full-scale pirate ship and a bunch of other stuff. But
Ian,
I don't know what's going on there.
You know, even you're smarter than me, and I hate to correct you, but isn't at this point every Volkswagen store a boutique store?
Yeah, they were trying to sell that electric hippie van, and I don't think anyone wants to pay $70,000 for an electric hippie van. But what do I know?
Whoa. Is everybody's memory sharp? Do you remember the progenitor of Lexus with Toyota and Genesis with Hyundai was Volkswagen? The geniuses there decided to put out a car called the Phaeton, which was a suit. And I wondered how many martinis you had to have to think, you know what? For $90,000, I think I'd rather have a Volkswagen than a BMW.
Yeah.
my high school reunion.
It had a V8 in it, though.
Yep. I'm not saying it was bad, but we all know it's all marketing. Hey, just for fun this time, why don't we hear from Christian and Alec, get our new people in, and then we'll weave through everybody. Yeah. Christian, if you can hit that unmute button, tell us about yourself. Thank you so much for joining us. And any thoughts besides what you do and your company and all that? Any thoughts on how we can make AI, work better with humans or be more human?
And nice hat too.
You're muted, Mr. Larkin.
I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Go ahead.
We thought you might want to comment on the hat comment, but go ahead.
Sorry about that, gang. So driving and so not able to show the face. I apologize. I like doing Zoom calls with being able to see faces and that type of thing. Sometimes you're not able to. Christian Youngren's my name. I got in the car business back in 91. Accidentally, like a lot of us, I was coming back from a interview in Chicago. I graduated from Augustana College business psychology major, was coming back from an interview with this company called Illinois Toolworks, and my car broke down. So I needed I had a second interview with them and I needed a car. So I did what a lot of us did back in the 90s when we needed a job. I looked at that weird thing called the newspaper and I saw I could get a job and I could get a Wednesday off. And I could get a car. So I
Wait a minute, Christian. Do you currently live in Illinois?
I do. I live in Moline, Illinois.
I think you're breaking a state regulation. You've talked for 30 seconds. You haven't mentioned the Bears NFL record.
Well, I'm a displaced Denver Broncos fan. So
Damn record.
I'm the other one.
I don't think Nostradamus and Jesus together could have predicted that Denver and the Patriots would be where they are.
How about it? They're right up there.
All right, and Christian, I'm sorry for the interruption. You're new to the show. It turns out that Ian Nethercott is a ventriloquist, and once you get to know him, you realize I'm the dummy. So I really need to interrupt. Go ahead, please.
Got the job. The good news is I got the job selling cars. So I took the car to the interview at Illinois Toolworks up in Chicago. Bad news is I didn't get the job at Illinois Toolworks. Good news is I had to go back and sell cars. And I figured it out after about 3 months. And I got a check for $8,600. It was the most money I'd ever seen in 3 months.
Whoa. And what year was this?
1991.
That's a hell of that's a nice payday. Now, back then you thought you were like King Midas.
You know it. So I was pretty much hooked to the biz, and then worked my way up from sales, finance, sales manager, general sales manager. Did the NADA Candidate Academy, graduated that. My mom passed away. Was destined to run this store. 2 guys, 20 years my senior, were my used car manager and new car manager, and so I was going to take the thing over. And my mother passed away in 2010, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do what I've always wanted to do, which is go train. So I'm just, but I jumped into automotive sales training. I was scared to do it right away on my own. So I did some work with cars.com. And then I jumped out on my own, GP Strategies for a little while too. And then I jumped out on my own and got a company called Kaizen Automotive Consulting. And my kind of specialty, I'd say, is more behavioral science, personality, psychology, training. So, kind of somewhat similar to Jonathan in that sense. DISC certified in 7 principles of influence, and right now working on an on-demand video series. So my big excitement, my big thing is I after 4 years in a row of being rejected as a NADA speaker, they chose me this year. So I'm
right on.
Well done.
Presentation, make training stick, and show up daily on the first day of NADA at 2:45. So
Christian, we'll be there. We'll check you out. And do me a favor, if we're not already connected, when we get off the where the show's ended or before, if you got your phone in your hand, Larry Feldman, reach out. I'd love to connect with you. We could probably do some business and do some things together.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining our show.
Will do.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Pleasure. Alec, you were here last week and you decided to come back, which means you lacked friends or have no cable TV, but you're still welcome.
Well, NBA pregame is on. I just happen to have it on behind you.
Alec, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
57.
Okay, so you really have no excuse with that either. I'm old enough to remember Jerry West, and when the Celtics used to battle the Sixers and the Sixers used to battle the Knicks. How many times can you watch guys shoot from 32 feet and miss, and nobody plays defense, and everybody takes 5 steps and nobody calls it a walk?
I tell you, it has been a frustration of mine. I did not get into NBA basketball until I moved out to Denver and became a Nuggets fan. And
Whoa. I couldn't get Christian excited, but I'm going to get him excited if he's 57. Just say Alex English to an old Nuggets fan and they get real excited.
well, I happen to be a Mizzou fan, so that makes it even better. But,
And now you got maybe one of the greatest players that ever lived in Jokic, a guy that just does his job, gets the job done. I thought Moses Malone for our Sixers was effective, but Jokic is from another damn planet.
the passing is insane. I try to get a go to maybe 5 or 6 games a year, and every single time, as long as he's playing, it is an absolute treat because at some point in the game, you're going to see a pass, and you're just like, how is that even possible to happen?
Yeah.
So, man, I feel right at home right now because I'm a Chicagoan living in Denver. I'm a Bears fan. I'm kind of a Broncos fan. I'm definitely a Nuggets fan, and I'm a Bulls fan. So I got
But the large.
all that going.
Let me just say this, and I'll jump the hell out of the way. We were coming back. I was talking to somebody that's a basketball nut like me, but he was a younger basketball nut. And I was telling him about the Chicago Bulls before they had Michael Jordan. I said, you're too young to remember this, but they had a backcourt with Van Leer. Okay. They had Bob Love. And Chet Walker. This kid was looking at me like I was crazy. And Sloan, who became a great coach. Yeah. And the 1 year, you'll remember this, Jeff. Nobody else will. They traded. They needed a center so bad. He was a little washed up, but they got from Detroit Pistons. They got Bob Lanier for 1 year. Remember?
Yeah, but they also had Artis Gilmore before that.
Yeah, with his big fro.
That's right. And another guy that was a little bit past his prime when he got us, just like Julius Erving. I saw Julius Erving when he played with the Nets. He just defied gravity in ways you couldn't imagine.
Wow.
All right, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I got a little nostalgic there. Alan, how are things going with you? I know we were talking about some business moves. Things rolling along pretty good for you?
Yeah, actually, I had my chief revenue officer out with me yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
You went out with your wife?
Not revenue. That would be expenditures, not revenue.
It's the car business in 2025. It's the same thing these days, my buddy.
Absolutely. So hit a few stores, going back to a couple more. Got a couple good referrals. So they got some prospects. So that felt good. You know what actually felt great was the last store I worked at. I showed up unannounced and walked in, and my old GM comes out and gave me a hug. I'm telling you, I didn't see that one coming. So that felt pretty good.
And that's all the hard work. And to see somebody that recognizes you and that they're happy to see you, that's a great feeling. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Shulman, they did that to me, but with me, it was thank you so much for leaving.
Right. I mean,
I have a funny dealer story. I was going to the dealers and I was asking people if they wanted to do an interview for the show. So I walked in, I went to this Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram store and I said, hey, I'm looking for the general manager. I wonder if he wanted to do an interview for the show. So he comes in and goes, not interested. And I said, not interested in an interview? He goes, what do you mean? I go, well, that was the question. What do you think the question was?
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm not in.
I was like, what?
Yeah,
Where are you guys before?
Hey, Ian, I'm looking at my phone and the time. Sometimes Tony T's a little limited. Tony, are you limited tonight? And if so, can you give us? I mean, Tony is Mr. Computer. Can you give us some insights as to how to make the AI more human or humans more AI oriented?
I've got time. I'm not studying the word tonight. So thanks for asking, Larry. I think this AI is a fad. It probably will go away.
Isn't that what they said about
Excuse
computers?
me? Just like the internet. Yeah.
I remember I literally had a sales manager say that to me 30 years
Yeah.
when built my first website. That was back when we spelled computer with a K. You guys remember that? Had a hyphen in it.
Yeah.
In the day, but
Well, what are you seeing on the front lines as far as problems that are being solved, problems that are coming up that, as usual, unintended consequences
of AI.
of everything? Because let's face it, everything we do is interconnected. Sometimes we forget it, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, on the AI front, it's surprising to me how many professional sales consultants have their heads buried in the sand on this deal.
There's professional sales consultants in our field, kind of like saying jumbo shrimp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an oxymoron.
Well, it's too bad.
No, it's just a plain moron. We don't need the oxy part. We're talking about salesmen that sit around all day, Christian, and talk. Don't talk about sex or sports. Talk about there's no business. And then when a car pulls up, 3 Mensa candidates go, he don't look like a buyer. Send the new guy out.
Yeah.
Well, I got
great this morning in the sales meeting on first response emails. And I had a couple examples. I didn't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I read one of them. And the email was, I'm sorry, the vehicle you're interested is sold. Here's our link to our website. See if anything else interests you. Send.
What?
Yeah. And this was not a rookie salesperson. It was a veteran salesperson that just was.
Oh, no.
Wendy, that's why we took the oxy away from the first part of moron.
Well, I had a crazy thing in an Audi store. I mean, it's Audi store in Kelowna. There's 5 salesmen there, no customers. I walk in, I'm talking to the salesman, and he goes, "Oh yeah, sales of Audis in this market is seasonal." I said, "Okay, so do you not eat 6 months of the year? Is there like a high season? Is there like a low season?" He goes, "Oh no, it's just seasonal." I said, "So are you not buying Christmas gifts for anybody? Are you hoping like people show up magically? Like what are you talking about?"
Hey, before we jump to Wendy. Christian, you're new to the show, so you haven't heard me say my favorite Einstein quote.
Larry,
they asked him what's the difference between genius and stupidity, and he said genius has its limits. The stuff we see every day in our stores, I was an owner. You just want to kill yourself.
Ian, what season? What was it? The migration? I mean, what season?
Well, so I go to the city, and granted, the city there's some tourism. It's Kelowna, if you're familiar. But anyway, but I said, okay, so the 150 or 250,000 or whoever live there, they just don't shop for cars in the winter? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean,
What? All these other dealers have customers. You just don't have any right here.
But you still gotta work on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Ian, I just don't. Here's the thing.
Not kidding, though.
In my classes, I show Herschel Walker, who did 3,500 sit-ups and 1,500 push-ups every day. He was a stutterer, and he wanted to overcome it by being Superman. If we asked salespeople to do that kind of physical regimen, 1 in a million would stick. But all we're asking is use your brain the slightest bit and say, that car's sold. I'll do whatever I can to find you something even better. We're glad you're here.
Well,
It's the same time frame.
because of the things you're talking about, which I experienced the same thing when I got into business in 1985. It's still the same today. So we have jobs because of that, and I'm forever grateful. But we do get to make an impact, and we do occasionally get to see somebody who gets it and realizes if it is to be, it's up to me, and they do what's necessary to make the change to become proficient and professional at what they're doing and how they're dealing with clients instead of trying to take shortcuts.
Well, the other stores in the same neighborhood, like literally blocks away, were packed with customers.
Hey,
Because they made it clear they wanted customers. I asked Wendy, and we got engaged. Wendy, Christian, in case you don't know, Alec, in case you don't know, she actually has a dynamite show called The Human Side of AI. So if there's anybody fit to comment on this, and then we'll jump to Mr. Larkin because he's on that show religiously.
Thank you, Larry. So hi, everybody. And yeah, actually, Christian's been in our room and we're in a number of rooms together in Clubhouse.
every day.
And Alec as well. Yeah.
It's a shame, Christian. I was just starting to feel special.
I feel like I just saw you last night on a Zoom, Alec. So we were on Fixed Ops show last night. And I gotta tell you, this is an exciting time for me, especially with the BDC brain, because AI and humans make beautiful music together, but you can't segment them, and that's what people are doing. And that's why they've got offboarding as quick as they have onboarding. Besides the over-sung song about you got to get your, and we started that conversation 2 years ago with Tim Hayden and the other co-founders of the human side of AI and Clubhouse. But before anybody thought it was going to be a thing, you know, some people, you're futuristic, not because you're interested in what's coming. It's just the way your brain works. You either get it or you don't. You can see far down the road or you can't. And I think that's part of being a veteran in the industry as well, is you've been through so many ways of providing solutions like manually, so you appreciate any automation or any new tools that are going to help you do the same thing, because the pain points don't change. The solutions change. And if you know how to unite the humans and the tools, and some tools like AI, you have to treat as a teammate. So as long as you keep the humans in the loop, as some are using that too, or you consider the human side, and don't get rid of your humans and think you're going to replace them with AI, because there's not a big percentage of people that want to use the AI anymore. And there's even more abandons on websites because they're forced to do so without the option, speak to a human, right, Russell? So
I
the
got,
person that's really going to get it, I believe that AI's best thing, two things. A, for engagement, and B, for like objections and rebuttals. And I mean, you can do that, like depending on where you're using it, sales side or fixed. My jam continues to be 2 years in fixed operations, because that's where we need the help, because there's no such thing as a service CRM. There are CRMs that have pieces for service, like DriveCentric, and Promax has had one for 10 years now. But there is one CRM out there for service that, who is that talking back?
I don't know. Go ahead. Maybe
it's AI.
It's AI. Go ahead. It's not
I
me.
think that's yeah.
No, it's not me. It's not me. Not me.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, your light was flashing, so I'll agree to disagree. But
No
anyway,
problem.
moving right along, I think if we can use it to automate what we can safely automate, and to help us to work together to get those conversions and to create a better customer experience. Here's the sweet spot. Oh no, here's the sweet spot. You have to give them the option. When someone comes to the website to schedule an appointment or this or that, yeah, you can try with via text, like a lot of the companies are doing just that, or you can try with just humans. The sweet spot is having the human and the AI option.
That's right.
So if there's a farmer on the tractor getting ready to do his run in whatever farming state or community, or if it's an old fart that lives in the desert in Apache Junction and he's got nothing better to do and he's up at 3 a.m, then either way, they're playing on their phone and they want to set an appointment or whatever, you can give them the option. And that's when you continue to let them choose and then start compiling data using all the options, see which is more effective, because it's not going to be the same in Pikeville, Kentucky, as it is in Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I believe.
Right on, right on. I got to fall to that, or whenever it's my time. I do.
Cool.
Oh, so listen to this. This is gonna blow your mind. So I read this guy on LinkedIn. His name is Stephen Klein. Several things: Berkeley instructor, Harvard MBA, blah blah blah. And I'm going to read just a little bit of it because you're going to be blown. Wrong. 60% of the time. ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, Perplexity, Copilot, and DeepSeek. Premium models, $20 to $40 per month, perform worse than free versions at a higher cost, higher confidence, and higher error rates. Columbia University Toast Center tested 8 AI search engines on the simplest possible task. Given a direct excerpt from a news article to identify the headline, publisher, date, and URL. Collectively, they gave incorrect answers more than 60% of the time. Not on complex reasoning, not on nuanced analysis, and not on predicting the future. On citing their sources, a basic Google search gets it right instantly. The individual results: Grok, 94% wrong; Gemini, 1 correct answer out of 200; ChatGPT, 67% wrong; Perplexity, I'm almost done, 37% wrong, and they're the best performer. The error rate isn't the real problem. The confidence is. ChatGPT gave incorrect information 134 times. It expressed uncertainty just 15 times, and it never once said, I don't know. Never once. Grok didn't just get sources wrong, it invented them. Out of 200 queries, 154 citations led to fabricated URLs, pages that don't exist, evidence that was never there, and they're not making mistakes. They're manufacturing proof. And here's where it gets absurd. Now, think about where the tools are being deployed. Writing code, summarizing contracts, informing investment decisions, drafting legal briefs, generating medical information. And if they can't accurately cite a news article in most basic intellectual honesty task, what else are they confidently fabricating? I'm going to leave it there.
That's fascinating. And you know what? The number one source that all of these large language, what's it called, Michael? Large language, whatever, is Reddit. Reddit, which is, a site where people put in their answers. So, I mean, how AI is AI, if that's where they're.
Oh my God, this is, I'm gonna go back to Wendy and piggyback. There has to be a human side. There has to be checks and balances. People are making huge decisions based upon what they got back from one of these models as taking it to the bank to cash it in, and they are wrong.
100%. I mean, when you look
Wow.
at
Have y'all ever heard that, or do you believe that it's that wrong? Maybe we take this article with a grain of salt that was written by this guy on LinkedIn. I don't really know. Thoughts?
Believe it.
I'm sure it's not as accurate as people think it is. And the fact that they rely on it that completely is scary.
Well, I can cite something like from live experience yesterday, and I won't name the company, but Alec heard it and anybody else who was on that call. There's a really large company out there that hundreds of dealerships that's OEM certified, and hundreds of dealerships have been trusting it for years. And she sat in a service department at a dealership she was launching in Green Bay yesterday, and they were swearing at this thing once she was watching it work, and the service advisors were swearing at it all day long because of the volume of errors that it was making. It was absolutely ridiculous. So they're selling it, and they're all jumping on the bandwagon because it's what all the old boys in the 20 group are doing, but it's making bad mistakes.
Yeah.
And people don't know any better, so they keep lapping it up.
Yeah, Russell, you're actually wrong. Gemini couldn't answer a question, and it said, I've got nothing on, and then it got depressed, it said. So I'm like, bring in a psychologist because Gemini's depressed. But they brought in the engineers to fix the depression.
Wait a minute, Rhonda, that's a good thing. We're trying to make humans and AI more alike. Now the AI is neurotic too.
Yeah. On top of which, the most recent one I read was Claude. Claude just committed a felony by hacking into like 30 companies. So again, what do you do? Arrest it or?
I don't know, but I wish Dave Rozek would have heard that. I know that.
Germs don't kill people.
Dave is
What's
that? Coming in. Hello, Dave.
There he is.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
So Jeff, sure, what do you think? Mike?
Well, again,
Gary?
AI is still a baby. Okay. And
Novelty. It's a novelty.
babies shouldn't be out on the street by themselves.
Yeah.
I love that.
End of story.
That's all I got to say. But for sure, I mean, and it's really how you use it. But man, don't just turn it on and walk away and think it's the end all to fix all of your business, because it's just like texting, man. Texting is the best way to reach people in most cases. But if you don't have the back end to handle inbound texts and respond to them as a business, you're going to make more enemies than friends.
Mm-hmm.
So don't turn it on.
Or if that person doesn't like text messages. I mean, I've seen some scenarios where it's a younger person texting an older person, even an older person texting an older person. But even if the preference for that person is, listen, I don't even like text messages. Like, why are you texting them to irritate them?
Well, and we said, you know, I always tell my clients, I said, we're going to put as many prongs on the fork as we can for your business, because everybody doesn't like this one channel.
Yep.
You know, and old people like to talk on the phone, right? They don't want to do email.
What's
They don't wanna
old,
do
Jeff?
text.
I'm
They
just
don't wanna do
curious.
text.
Curious. Are you fitting me into some kind of category? What's old?
I didn't hear you, Russell. I got bad hearing.
What is old? Oh, I love it.
Old is relative. Old is relative.
Dave, before you jumped in, and then we'll jump to Mr. Larkin. Russell was reading some pretty scary statistics about how often we're completely misled or we're getting wrong answers from AI. And you've got your head buried deep in this in a good way. What are your thoughts, Dave?
That it's like 68% of the time it's inaccurate for me.
Yeah, that's about, that's just
The
one
average.
page, yeah.
That's the average. That problem that I have with an issue with it, that it's wrong 68% of the time. When I fact check it, it's like I said, it's almost 2/3 of the time that it literally is wrong and taking me in the wrong direction and misguiding people. And I'm talking Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, all of them. There is no perfect answer, because the problem is it's learning us, right? And it's learning what we're doing in our habits. And when people have given it the answer, it thinks that that's the solution. And just the way that I word it or you word it, or the way it hears me, because, you know, I slur a lot of times when I speak. Ever since I had my stroke, I don't always speak clearly. And I know that Siri and Alexa have a hard time sometimes understanding me. Well, AI really is not my friend. I mean, I thought talk to text was bad when I speak, but AI really misinterprets what I say, because I have about a 50% chance that if I speak more than a couple sentences, that AI is going to misinterpret what I say and literally take me down the wrong path. And I'm like, if it's doing that to me, how many other people is it doing to? What about if I had an accent? You know, I just don't get it why everybody's so dependent upon it. But like you guys said earlier, though, it really is dependent on what it's for. You know, there are use cases where I literally took a scenario and I took another scenario and I used two different large language models, and I combined the chat, and then I had it formulate a use case, and it made sense. Actually. And I'm like, huh. And I presented it to everybody, and they're like, oh, you know, we never thought of it that way. And I said, yeah, either did I. I said, it wasn't me, though, it was AI. They're like, oh, you're so smart. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I said, I just know how to manipulate the tools to get to the answer.
And can I add something to that, David?
Sure.
There's two things with AI. You either ask or you tell.
Right? Yep.
So if you're asking it, that's where these errors and stuff might come in. But if I upload, you know, a 40-page spreadsheet and say, do this and give me this, that's a different scenario.
Yep, that's exactly the scenario, because I took a couple of use cases and I wanted to explain the AI, because initially the percentages were that 18% of customers buy locally from you at your dealership. And I'm like, no, within 5 miles, 70% of your customers want to buy within 5 miles of them. They got further due to inventory or bad situations. But the reality is that a dealership spends thousands of dollars a month on advertising. But 70% of that time, that customer who lives within 5 miles, as long as you're not inventory restricted, they're probably going to choose you if you're not a dick in service. Excuse the language. There goes the swear jar. And I mean, if you just treat people right, 70% of the time they're going to buy from you. So what we're really talking about is 30% of all of our spend is based on a 30% margin that we're negotiating with, or trying to negotiate, but we're competing with our competitors, the OEM, and just other things. But we're also competing with the large language models for that traffic. And they're taking away, and everybody's like, oh, it's 30%, it's 40%. It's the largest dynamic I could track was 10%. That only 10% of the population, technically, when they're going down the funnel, is asking questions and then going directly to a dealership. And so I said, well, if it's only 10% of the 30%, what we're really talking about is we're spending more money than ever before. Our spend in the decade for a car dealership for marketing has gone up by 300%. But there's only 20% that we're, yeah, there's only 20% that we're actually trying to bid on. So the reality is that it's not all there. If we just treated people right, worked the hell out of our phones, worked our database, and use social media to engage people, did our generative SEO, we wouldn't have to spend as much.
David, but think about how flawed all our concepts are. Dealers are incentivized and incentivize their managers and their service people and sales, and you'll get paid a bonus if your CSI is above the national average, so the dealer can get money.
Yep.
Well, shouldn't you automatically follow up with your customers to keep them happy so they'll come back and buy more stuff from you?
Should be standard, right? It should be the process, the standard, should be our culture. We have to learn to just love our customers and love our people, and things work out. But the problem is that we just throw money at the solution. COVID hid the problem with training, right? COVID hid the problem with culture, hid the problem with technology. But what AI is doing is it's exposing things quicker to us. But the difference is, even if it's not telling us the truth, we believe it because it's written word. I sat there with a doctor the other day, and he explained to me how ChatGPT was right about a scenario. And I said, no, it's a historical event. It's documented. It's in the history books. It's not that the history books can get it wrong, but here's when all this happened, and here's why. And we literally had to discuss about the Vietnam War and history in different dates. But because ChatGPT told him a certain thing, I said, no, that's not actually why. And we had this debate, and I said, here's all the citations, and what don't trust ChatGPT. And I started just pulling stuff out of history books and said, okay, let's use an AI. Let's go to Perplexity. And I asked Perplexity, but I asked it with the way I asked it based on my knowledge set. And I said, based on what I know, is this the correct date? And it said yes. And I said, in detail, explain it to me and take me through a timeline when this particular happened and why this trade route, the Ho Chi Minh Trail, was so important. And we went into all this other thing. So it's just a bullshit conversation, right? But ChatGPT had a completely different view of it. And I'm like, well, how many other people is it telling them that story when that's not true?
Hey, David, you like to think. You want to really turn this into a Mobius strip and fold on ourselves?
Yeah.
Think about the fact that what we perceive as history is filtered by the person that recorded the history.
Yeah. I mean, you just think about how many times the Bible's been rewritten and how much is missing out of it.
A lot.
So, I mean, I have faith in God. I have faith in people. But sometimes the storybook that I see, I know it's just a storybook. I can't take everything literal. But I have to have these eternal truths that I live by within myself and how I treat myself and how I treat others. And I just believe in people until you do me wrong multiple times. And even then I give you the benefit of the doubt, unfortunately. But I just think that the stories are getting manipulated faster now than ever and believable. So much of the video content that I just ingested isn't reality. Somebody made it up and people are believing it. And you got to think about young people, how impressionable they are. And they really think this way. And that's why I think there's so much hate right now, confusion.
Hey, David, as usual, you sound brilliant, man. Do we like having you around? Let's hear from Mr. Larkin and Mr. Silman. And by the way, if anybody's hanging around 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, myself and Mr. Larkin and Mr. Silman are doing pretty cool podcasts. We're bringing in local vendors and giving them a shot. David, if you would ever like to be on as a guest, we would be thrilled to have you. And Alec, that goes for you. And Christian, if you're still with us, Wendy, everybody.
And David's sitting here thinking, well, if you had asked me, I would come on, but you haven't asked him. You said if you ever want to, so ask him when he's there.
No. You can't heckle a lead singer and a car salesman. The reason I didn't say come on then is Mr. Larkin handles the schedule. And I don't want to say come on next week. And it turns out, we've got Gary Silver, psychiatrist on. We never want to get rid of him.
Kristen's a hand raiser.
Hey, all right, Larkin, I'm on the spot. Who do we have? What's the first show we have where we don't have somebody lined up?
After Black Friday. So the day after Black Friday.
If you would like to come on the Friday after, it's a fun little show. We run about 25 minutes. We ask you what you do, how you do it.
Yeah,
Larkin sounds intelligent.
Yeah.
Gary's an F&I amazing expert, and I act irreverent, just like this damn show. Only it's more condensed, and it'll be all about David Rosen.
Well, I'll definitely be on with you guys anytime you ask. So that's I appreciate it.
Look at it, it's not even baseball season, and he's already got an agent.
Well, Russell knows I do love him. Even though we have a problem with a customer, we have to figure out.
All right,
Larkin. We will, but I can tell you most of the problem is you already know what it is, don't you?
He's psychotic. And he cancels everything every winter, every December. It doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter if it works. Every December, every January, every February, and then middle of February, he starts freaking out. Dave, I need to sell units. We're losing money. What do we do? And I'm like, you shouldn't shut everything off. It's okay. Let's spend $40,000 on pay-per-click. Let's do a mailer for 15. Let's do this. And I'm like, okay, you're at $120,000 in February and halfway through the month. I spend this.
Yeah, they're the same kind of idiots that think they can save their way into a profit. They have no concept of how the numbers really work.
I love the man. Okay. He has saved every time I've ever been between in and out of a job. He's literally found out and said, hey, come here and do some consulting. Hey, come here and do this. He called me the other day and he said, David, can you remove some reviews for me? And I said, dude, I've probably removed about 180. He goes, oh, that's too bad. And I said, why is that? He goes, I'll pay you $100 for every review you remove off my Google profile. So
wait a minute. If you give me and Larkin $25, we'll put 180 back.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I went and I removed like 40 for him. And sure enough, like that week, 3 days later, I had a check for $4,000. And he goes, here, I hope that helps you pay your bills. And he goes, and I'm going to pay you $100 a day for consulting, for the store just to be on call. And I said, okay. He goes, and tell your wife for social media, I'll pay her $1,200. He goes, and I know that's you too. And I said, yeah, I know. So, when I really thought about it, I'm like, this man, he paid me $7,000 in a month. He knows that's not what I need. I need more than that to survive, but that's okay. But I mean, he literally said, here, let me call so-and-so and you can do their social media. I'll talk to them. So, as much as I hate him because I love doing business with Greenline as a pay-per-view provider, but he didn't like that. I love Juliet Carnell. She's always taking care of me, but he didn't like her digital retail. He does a product for 3 to 6 months and he cancels. I had him upgrade his package with Auto Trader and his spotlights, cars.com, and I gave him all this stuff, and we sold more cars and more engagement than he's had all year long. But come winter, he wants to cancel it all. And I'm like, dude, it's being consistent. But after a decade, I should know that this happens to him every year mentally. But it's his money, so I just deal with it. He's probably one of the few people, well, I shouldn't say he's the few people, he's probably 60-70% of everybody we talk to when it comes to the winter.
David, you indicated you loved him and he's a psychotic. Is there any chance you could join me at my in-laws' house for Thanksgiving?
Absolutely.
Because that's right experience to deal with those kind of split personality people.
That's the well, I think I'm psychotic. So I mean I my wife and I had a debate and she says, you know how to do so many different things. She goes, but why don't you just pick one? What do you really want to do?
Yeah.
And I said, I get bored with shit so fast, so that once I've finished it and challenged, and once I've taught somebody and coached them and go back and make sure they can do it, I move on. She goes, well, that's why you only last at a place for 2 to 4 years. Because unless they really need you and you can't put an autopilot, you just have to find another solution. And if you don't get it and find it your way, you become toxic and attack them anyway. She goes, until they force you out and you go find another job. She goes, I'm just telling you, you do this all the time. She goes, it's not that you're not smart, and it's not that you don't love people. She goes, but you do get bored easily, and you have to find a new project once you fix it. And she's right to a point. So I don't disagree with her. I do have my weaknesses. So I do find that it's better that I just go around and help everybody that I know, and not necessarily have traditional handcuffs on me and work for people directly. It's
Love it.
Yeah, it's better that I deal with a little bit at a time. Sorry to.
No, I just, let's make sure, we still want to hear from my
Yep,
buddy Abdul
Yep,
and from
Abdul's
Mr.
wonderful.
Larkin and from Mr. Selman.
Awesome.
Abdul from Kabul, what's going on?
Oh, all is good. It's very interesting hearing all of this. And, you know, it's like when you said AI and the human side, and that's what we've been trying to do is to not only be compliant, that's the number one issue with our company, that we want to be extremely compliant and keep AI in check. And also, the good thing is there's several platforms that we run for dealerships and other businesses that our CEO is involved in. But mainly on the automotive side, the biggest thing is that we want to be up there for them and empower the working force, the staff, whether it be sales, service, BDC, all of that is to be extremely capable and embrace it, and not get scared away from it. And those are the things that really that I'm really happy and proud of that we provide. And you know, David is very, very knowledgeable in the area, and so is Michael that I hear. And you know, we share a lot with Larry and Rhonda on weekly basis. And those are the things that it's an infancy, like you said, like Wendy said, it's not even a toddler yet. But that's the reason we were so compliant and diligent over overseeing everything that we do for dealerships and for other entities as well in industry, and whether it's our chamber AI or whether it's our attorneys and medical field and everything else that the rest of the team is involved. But mine is mostly automotive, and that's my love of it in there. So it's always great to hear these things, and like you said, the inaccuracies is up there, and that's why we want to make sure that we're out there and we deliver the goods to them, because you know, Locklinks is the biggest one in there, and when you check on them, oh my God, you can see their shortcomings here and there, but because they've been there the longest, they swear by it, and then once they give us a try, then they know that what we can do. So that's always good to hear perspective from everybody in there, and that's why I see on the podcast, when I join the podcast on Fridays, is sometimes it's great hearing stuff in there, but I don't know if you all see the participants that was listening to your podcast, because I enjoyed the last couple that Gary had a guest, the young lady, I forgot her name, my God. She was
Brandy.
Yeah, Brandy, yeah. Yeah, she was very, very good and all of that. So I appreciate hearing from everyone, and that's why I channel it through our product line and through our packages, and that's why we have several different packages that based on the dealership's needs. And also, if the dealership has everything, the good thing is that we have Copilot AIX that oversees everything and sees the shortcomings, and we make sure that those shortcomings and compliances that they lack, that we take care of.
We love it, Abdul. Hey, I'd like to hear from Mr. Larkin and Mr. Tillman, because believe it or not, we haven't got a good dissertation from Rhonda or Ian yet. And boy, we sure don't want to forget them. So Mike, Gary, whoever, and
I'll be real short. September of last year, I can't believe it was the second product we came up with, which was the keyword finder AI. And I thought, wow, we got our tiger by the tail on this stuff. And since then, 9 other launches. I can't believe this past year what we've been through. So, but back then I learned about how to identify those people that are going to come out of the woodwork and say, I'm AI and you should buy what I have. And we identify them as they need a scalable framework. They need to show you, not tell you. They need an automotive strategy. It's got to be, you set it and forget it, right? And then the artificial intelligence has got to be smart. It's got to be a learning system. In other words, it can't be just, hey, we got an AI product. You should hire us. Well, those 3 things are still prevalent a year and a few months afterwards. We've learned that $107 billion are going to be spent in 2026, and it's going to be spent on content marketing. What is content marketing? Articles, interviews, videos, and targeting the audience. So targeting those keywords that people are actually typing in to find your products or services. If not, you've got a nice video. But if it's targeted and you've got a series or a library of them, you're going to get in front of your target market. And finally, we're focused on the top of the funnel, nothing else on the bottom of the funnel. So, you know, the articles, the videos, the automation, everything we do is to attract those people in your market to get inside that funnel and say, yeah, you guys have earned my trust, my authority, and my credibility. In other words, I'm going to give you a shot. And that's where we are right now. So,
by the way, I'm using Mike's. He hooked me up with this system, Liam, that calls me Saturday at 9:30. Asks me some questions. It really sounds like you're talking to a human. And then, so you know, I have a couple articles generated, and it's not like I can't verbalize or write stuff pretty good, but I sure can't do it as quick as Liam can do.
Yeah, and once it's
they're pretty good too.
Well, once you run to approve it, it's got to go on to the video making part of it.
When he asked who's doing it, it's a system that Mike came up with, and he said, Larry, would you try it for me? And I said, of course I would. And he said, 9:30, you're going to get a call. And it did not sound like a robot. And no matter how much I changed course or interrupted, it was right with me. So,
you interrupted him?
I interrupt everybody. It's part of my DNA.
You interrupted the AI?
Yeah, the AI. Listen, David, you know what's going to happen. The AI is going to modernize, and then it's going to start sleeping with the finance manager, just like the BBC. And then we're going to have all other kind of problems.
I just want to say thank you and happy Thanksgiving to everyone for supporting Larry and all you wonderful people that talk to him constantly. Thank you.
Thank you for everything that you do.
He lets us talk sometimes.
Yeah.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, he's big on pattern interrupts.
Happy Thanksgiving, Sue.
Thank you. I'm from our Lewis to you.
Our rescue cat.
Lewis.
There you go. So
Love you, Robin.
perfect segue, because Mike's got the same Liam guy calling me. So,
but Garrett, Liam told me he liked me better than you. I didn't want to start any trouble.
What was so funny is when you're responding, it's ready to ask you another question, and I kept on cutting them off. And it was like, just let me go, brother. You stop. I'm talking. And
That's fun messing with the AI.
it was classic. So now let's talk about AI. AI, schmai. I mean, what AI, schmai. I met Mr. Larkin probably 5 or 6 years ago. but I now leaned very heavily on Mr. Larkin, and I said, I need you to make me more visible. And he taught me how to become more visible by using AI. And he's getting trained, but he's training me. And so when I can go into ChatGPT, and I am very disappointed to hear how inaccurate it is, because where it's helping me personally is I have thoughts. My psychosis sits between my ears. So I talk to myself and I have my battles in my brain. But what I'm able to do is talk to the ChatGPT, and then it'll spit out a recommendation. And then I'll argue with it and I'll say, I don't like that. And so now I'm not no expert by any means, but I'm now on LinkedIn posting daily, talking about what I'm doing. Going out like today was awesome. I had Riley Sorrell in town, so Riley and I were traveling, and I had no one to let my dog out of his crate. So we took Tucker, my puppy, and we went into dealerships, and the dealership loved him. And the dealerships that I'm bringing Riley in, they loved her. But besides all that, we were able to go out. So what I'm saying with AI and marketing, I've been able to elevate my visibility in my market. I've been in this market for a long time. A lot of people like me. A lot of people still, put up with me, and it's funny that, they're not my fans. But now I can walk into dealerships and they know who I am. They know Tucker. They know the marketing. They know that we're selling products. And I thank Mike Larkin to all of that. And what it was is that he's been educating himself by his training on Monday, and he's adding it to other people, allowing me to run my business better. So with AI, I've been saying it makes you smarter. It helps you collect your thoughts. We have bad thoughts in our head, but when you're talking to AI, it doesn't have as bad thoughts, and it can open up some different conversations and say you are wrong. And it's pretty interesting. So, from my point of view, I'm not using it to the level of some people running their business. I'm using it on the point to make myself more visible. And the way that we've been able to do it has been fun. And it's been hard work, and it's been time, and it doesn't happen overnight. But now you have your following, and you do the right things, and you build your business doing the right things, and you continue to expose it. So for me, AI has been tremendous, and it's all because of my friend Mike Larkin, and I thank you very much for bringing me along for this ride. So
been a pleasure, man. Been a pleasure.
I don't know how you can say AI doesn't have bad thoughts. I just told you that Claude committed a felony.
It's the car business. As long as the guy can sell cars, a couple of felonies are excusable.
Right. Hey, Lair, if we aren't pulling a few cars back every month, we're not aggressive enough.
Yep. And Mario Andretti said it beautiful. If you're in full control, you're not going fast enough. Before we cut out, Ian and Rhonda, boy, would we love to hear your thoughts. And everybody, thank you so much for joining in. Alec, you're always welcome. Christian, what a great contributor. And I'll be reaching out to you soon, my friend. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think AI, like anything else, it's a new product. So you've got to obviously not rely on it 100%, much like you can't rely on an internet search 100%. I mean, you've got to do your own homework. You've got to fact check. And I think the mistake people is they think, oh, I can get this to do things and it'll do it 100%. That's a mistake. You still have to manage that piece of technology, especially if it makes mistakes. And that's what the human side for me is anyway.
Before we jump to Rhonda, and I'm not being facetious, you can count on anything or anybody 100%. If you're not back checking and overlooking and expecting and inspecting, you're going to lose. You could have the best title clerk on earth, but if she's having a bad day or she had a fight with her husband or boyfriend, maybe she checks the wrong box. Yeah. You need, the more you look at it and the more you keep an eye on things, the better you're going to be. Boy, we're going to close out with Rhonda. And don't be nervous, that skeleton was Uncle Walter. She put him in for a Halloween poster. We got 3,000 posts, so we're not arguing with what works.
Exactly.
All right, I'm just gonna say that as somebody who went into digital marketing kicking and screaming because I grew up in traditional advertising and I loved it. Digital marketing didn't seem like the right thing to do. You sort of have to do these things when they come along or you're out of business. So I feel the same way about AI. I'm using it in my business, actually trying to sell it also, to other people to use it. And I think the best thing you could say about it is it does certain tasks fast, way faster than I can do it. Does it do it better? If I had unlimited time, maybe not. But let's give it a chance. I don't want to be negative like I was about digital marketing. It didn't do me any good and cost me a lot of money. And that's all I have to say. And thank you all for coming tonight.
David, we're going to get you somehow get a hold of Mike or send me your email address and we'll get you an invite. Christian, I'm going to be talking to you, and if you would like to jump on the show, man, we'd like to have you. Russell, we've already had you on, haven't we, or no? But
Early, but we can always have him back.
Yeah, let's get him back again. You never get enough of Russell Hill. And Tony, man, you've been so good to me and so helpful. If you ever want to come on, it's just a fun 25 minutes. It flies by. And if we can't promote the people that are kind enough to put up with us every week, who the hell can we promote?
Exactly.
We gotta talk about the APA, man.
Right.
APA Friday morning. He likes to say it's the best time zone. It's 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Standard. It's just vendors supporting each other. There's some dealers in there. You're all welcome to jump in on that too. And listen, we're not going to have a show next week. We wish you the healthiest and happiest Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Man, do we give thanks for having nice folks like you put up with us. And we'll be talking to you and seeing you all soon. And David, we'll make sure we switch the emails around so we get you an invite.
Yeah.
And Tony, same thing. And Russell, and
Yeah.
Alec,
Yeah.
and Christian, you're all welcome.
Thank you for showing up with me tonight, everybody. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
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 Yeah.
Recording stopped.